Hey, I wanted to make a video on, I would say, narcissists, demonic possession, demonic oppression, and the perfect possession. I want this to be a more spiritual concept on narcissists. There are countless, channels today where they talk about narcissists in more of the psychology realm, relationship realm, and I don't feel like there's that many people that go over the spiritual part of it. Now, some people will flat out say, oh, there's no way that they're demonic or evil. Don't give them that much credit. Don't give them that much power. They're not that bright and not that smart, blah, blah, blah. While in a way that may empower the people who say that, haven't we heard of that phrase? Never underestimate the power of a lot of stupid people. And there are a lot of stupid narcissistic people in the world, and they do a lot of damage to light workers. They snuff out a lot of good. They exhaust us. They make us sick, chronically sick, autoimmune diseases, chronic fatigue, brain fog. Many people that have so many talents and gifts and hope and love and genuine agenda free, you know, value they want to pour all over the world is being snuffed out by the second by narcissistic individuals. And I'll even go so far as to say I've noticed the trend of more actual, genuine narcissists that are starting to make channels about narcissists. I know there's that one guy who's been out forever who's a self proclaimed narcissist. That's not what I'm talking about. And I actually think he does give out a lot of bad advice. I've seen him actually go so far as to accuse people who don't publish a book they wrote of being narcissists, and it's like he goes on and on these random rants, and I'm like, you cannot listen to a narcissist for information because the truth is not subjective, and he can't really honestly look at himself. It's not possible, and people who follow him are deluded. Um, but there's a lot of other channels who were also using his tactics and his ideas, and they are leading people down the wrong path. I notice a lot of men doing this. There are a few women, but I notice a lot more men are coming out talking about how to, avoid narcissists. And they end up telling you how you are so wrong and there's something damaged about you. And so you need to get fixed so you don't attract more. And how do you get fixed? By buying their products, by giving them money and making them rich. They're just riding the wave, right? They're piggybacking off of genuine victims. And there are some women who do that too. Some of them may have started out well meaning, but I won't give out a specific name. But there was one woman I thought of where she loves to go on rants and say that you must be codependent. So you must buy her products that help you not be codependent. And, these are the same tactics that narcissists use to manipulate you. What narcissists love to do is they like to break you down to rebuild you in their image. Break you down, rebuild you in their image, or rebuild you in whatever image they deem fit. And a lot of people that have narcissist channels are actually doing the same thing. They're breaking you down and they're rebuilding you to buy their products. And it's a little bit disturbing, isn't it? But I wouldn't say that everyone that we think is a narcissist truly is. We have some really good people out there that talk about it. There's a spectrum. Some people have a little bit of narcissistic tendencies. Some people have a lot. And I want to go into the spiritual aspects of it because I do believe everything does have a spiritual root. Now, look at this from a more shamanic perspective, a healer perspective, medicine woman, medicine man perspective. Um, the old ways combined both physical and spiritual medicine. Even Jesus Christ did that. The example of one child who sounded epileptic and he cast out that demon that made him mute and deaf. And this little child is having seizures and things. And, these days, people get really upset if you have these religious groups who only want to address an illness on prayer or, casting out demons, when really everything has a spiritual and a physical root. And if you don't believe that, obviously this is not the video for you. But old medicine, even deeper than the trinity of the most famous monotheistic religions, go back thousands of years. And you will see that a lot of the old ways combined spiritual uh, ways of addressing sickness before they even did the physical. And some cultures addressed both. If you look at many things to this day, whether it's Palo Santo or sage or salt or other, even many types of incense and things you may think is frou-frou, but they actually do contain antimicrobial properties. They actually do help kill germs in the respiratory tract when you breathe them in. I mean, many things that spiritual medicine people, shamans, and healers use also work in the actual medical field. And so I feel like we need to look at the root of why narcissists are so rampant today. And first off, I actually think we are conditioning people to be narcissistic. We are being groomed by this massive, if you want to go so far as to say the ancient Babylonian oligarchy, this would be no proof or anything, but some people do suspect that even the British monarchy can be traced back to ancient Babylon. Whoever it is running the show, you look at the world leaders, the rich, the elites, the ones who run everything. Like in the US, you have the right and the left fighting all the time. And it's so extreme with them. They are narcissistic, it's their way or the highway. If you're not ultra left, you're not good enough. If you're not ultra right, you're not good enough. And you can't have an answer or a solution to a problem. If you do, they don't want you. I often try to find the roots and the problems to fix them. So the political parties don't like that. They don't want to fix things. They just want to fight. And that's because they're paid to fight. I've heard that the R family has been funding both sides of war for hundreds of years, and the political parties too, right? There are certain people who fund both sides, order out of chaos. Divided we fall, right? And this is done intentionally to control. It's like mass hypnosis going on. You look at the school system, they talk about anti bullying. And I just saw on the news recently where, thank God, there was a mother who was standing up for her daughter and admitting how, with what her daughter said, that the actual school, the adults are bullies. And it's true. It is so true. I've experienced it. My children have experienced it. They can't have these anti-bullying campaigns when the adults actually reward narcissism and they punish individual thought. They punish anyone who thinks differently, and it's so strange how cluster B personalities and narcissist, antisocial personality, these things are supposed to be neurodivergent too, but yet not really. Because if you look at neurotypical, some of the symptoms are people who lie and manipulate. Like if you're on the autism spectrum, one of the symptoms of you is that you're so gullible and trusting and naive and you're literal and you tell the truth and you expect other people to tell the truth. How is that supposed to be neurodivergent? Tell me. I mean, come on. Psychology admits the majority of people today are liars and manipulators and sneaky and cunning, and it's sick. It really is. The school system does reward people who conform, who manipulate, who fight, who compete. They value competition. They weed out the weak, and the weak can just be somebody who is a little different from them. And we need different. Light workers are different. Those who want to heal the earth, they're different. You know, I think Narcissist has also come out of this massive industrial revolution, this massive, modern society is killing people. The ancient tribal ways are the ways that heal the earth, that protect the earth. Aboriginal people in Australia talk about this, how their way does protect the planet. And right now, the planet is dying because of the modern ways that we live. The social media rewards narcissism. media, the news rewards it. Anyone who is different is completely cast out or ignored. And what I want to go over is that not only is there spectrum of narcissism, but there is a spectrum of demonic oppression. And if any of you have ever followed Ed and Lorraine Warren, you'll have to throw out their version of demonic oppression. It didn't make sense to me after some things that I had read. Oppression is what most people go through. Okay, most every single person is oppressed to some extent by dark energy. It's just like we have certain heavenly ministering spirits assigned to us. We also have probably evil spirits assigned to us by the kingdom of darkness. And these things try to keep us down. Now, those of us who have genuine goodness in us and no agenda, and we're not here to get, we're actually here to give. We have no desire to be here. There are many of us who would really have, you know, ended it all years ago, have no motive to be here other than we know we're meant to be here. We're told to be here. We're here to help other people. We don't have a goal or anything, no agenda other than can we leave the world better off than when we came in it? And those are the ones narcissists really, really aim to go after. Um, if you look at most people, the oppression levels they have, it really depends on how are you someone who is a convenient person who only wants what's convenient for them, or are you someone who has hopes and dreams and goals of doing something better for humankind? If you are actually trying to better humankind, you will have people come into your life again and again and again who will try to snuff that light out. And know all of these people who, again, want you to buy their products are going to tell you, oh, you're not using the law of attraction right. You're not healed right. That's why you're attracting narcissists. That's bullshit. If you are a light, moths are going to come to you, period. A city on a hill can't be hidden. If you are a light worker, you will always attract dark. It's how it goes. The darkness itself will flee. Trust me. When you turn on that light, darkness must flee. The problem is you're so much more easy to feed on when your light is dim. It's like vampires can't come out in the sunlight. Well, these psychic vampires can't come out in the sunlight. So if they can get you weak enough where you glow a little bit, kind of like the moon, they can feed on you. If you're too bright, you're actually causing damage to the kingdom of darkness and hurting them. But if you're just glowing just enough, they will feed off of you. Because you see, evil cannot go directly to source for energy. We who are light bearers, the true light bearers, by the way, not the false light, like these Luciferian people, which is so funny that they worship like a fluorescent light bulb or something. I don't know. Okay, the light's in us. Okay, we bear the light. We're the light bearers. We are the water bearers. We are the Aquarians. I actually am an Aquarius with an Aquarius stellium, and we are going to usher in the age of Aquarius, which is not even close to here yet in our terms. It is in the grand scheme of things, but it's over 100 years away. We are at the third decan in Pisces, in the age of Pisces, and they are actually rearing its ugly head with all the negative sides of Pisces, the delusion, the imprisonment, the addiction. And people are absolutely determined to hate, steal, kill, do whatever it takes to keep their delusion alive, to protect it. And those of us who are light workers, we have a very hard time keeping our light bright because these psychic vampires being used by demons are constantly trying to feed us. They will find a new person somehow, some way to manipulate, fool you, love bomb you, manipulate you into a relationship so that they can weaken you, so they can feed off of you and your light. They cannot go directly to source. They have to feed off of us. And the people who have different levels of narcissism, it depends on how much oppression they have by demons. Some of them are just cop-outs. They have a few deep, dark, dirty secret sins like porn addiction, incest, deep, dark desires to harm, to murder, and these people don't tell anyone about their deep, dark secrets. So they harbor them. And they're like, I'm really a good guy. I'm really a good guy. Yeah, I help people. Sure. But really, they're users, they're weak, they're fragile, their egos are so fragile that they constantly need reassurance that they're a good person. And you wonder, why does this person constantly need reassurance that they're a good person? Because deep down, they know they're not. Deep down, they know they have extremely, extremely dark, demented secrets they don't want anyone to know. And evil uses that. Evil uses that to make them separate themselves from their creator. Instead of them actually facing their shadow side and doing their shadow work, they run from the maker. As soon as you start to run from your maker, you are on dark side. You know, and I don't like saying everything is just black and white. Most things are a rainbow. Most things are a spectrum. But you either are serving dark or you are serving light. There is no in between in this world. None. And if you really look at it, most people are not serving light. Most people are walking around wounded, defeated, um, I would say sad and scared, but no, actually, I would say a lot of people are walking around selfish, entitled, contemptuous, me, me, me. They will gossip, they will slander, they will lie, they will cheat, do whatever it takes to get that raise, to get rid of their competition at work. Um, they care more about money and physical things than they do spiritual things. There are a lot of people. It is like an epidemic of people who are selfish and shallow and have no core. They have no roots. And us light workers are kind of trying to wake them up. When we do like tarot readings and things, we know that we are attracting some people who are already awake, some people are waking, some people are sleeping awake, some people are like desperate for some information because they're codependent or they are lovesick or they are, desperate for answers and they can't find them in the psychology community or in the religious communities. That's when they come to us, tarot readers and psychics and intuitives and things. And we're the ones that nobody wants to admit they like. Everyone hates us until they need us. And all of a sudden we're popular, right? But those tarot readers and intuitives and psychics who are really good people, and there are some out there who are amazing people. I have seen some others on YouTube who are really uplifting and really motivate you to find your truth, to find your center, to wake up. And a lot of times the trials that we go through, it is to purify us, it is to wake us up. And thankfully, as light workers out there, as healers out there, we are doing our part to wake people up. But a lot of people, they are only in it for what they can get. That's how they live their life. And when they do that, they are actually just feeding the beast and they are usually latching onto people and using them. And the level of oppression with demons, it varies. Some people are really, really dark. Some people are just, shallow. They don't have really dark, deep secrets or anything. They're just, they're weak. They're selfish. I've seen people who like one example would be a lady at the last place I worked at. It was weird. She almost ran me off the road my first day of work, trying to beat me there. And I didn't even know who she was. From the first day I walked in, she hated me. She smells like mothballs, walks around with a camel toe, yells at everyone. And she's a very abrasive person, very competitive person. And she hated me from the moment she ever saw me. And I will tell you that, and the boss at the time didn't even tell me she was talking about me until she left, until this lady left who didn't like me. And then when I left, she came right back. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I know you were gossiping about me behind my back. And obviously, when she came back, you go right back to it. It's disgusting, lady. Poor thing. I feel bad for her because she has no self awareness whatsoever. She got like Neanderthal brows and she's just real, those people who are real like obsessed with money. I mean, she got to spend money and make money and she'll do anything. She'd practically slit my throat if that's what it would take to make money. Sold her soul for money. I think my boss probably did too. They'll do anything for money and they'll claim to be Christians and they know about Jesus and all this stuff, right? Fake as can be. And I don't want to say I know or don't know if these people have deep, dark secrets. It's not my place to know, right? But you can tell by their personality. If the moment you walk in the room, they hate you, they're convicted. Their demons are screaming. I mean, they are oppressed by demons. Demons will actually follow these people around because they know their only goal is to get money. That's it. Their goal is to gimme, 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 me. I want, more. And these demons use these people to snuff out people like me. They do not want people like me in society. They will do whatever it takes to keep people like me out of society. And I'm exhausted from it. I am sick and tired of these narcissistic pieces of shit walking around trying to snuff us out. But it is what it is. It's a battle. We are in a battle. It is never meant to be easy for us. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because a lot of people are like, "Oh, my ex is a narcissist. My ex is a narcissist. My everybody is a narcissist." And I'm like, "Well, you may not be wrong because like I said, it's everywhere these days. But I would say it's probably more along the lines of everyone is behaving narcissistically. You know what I'm saying? It's like if they really knew better, maybe they would do better. I don't know if they actually got humbled enough. The problem is a lot of these people are not humbled enough either. They don't have any really, like some of these same fake people selling books and stuff, on YouTube are saying, "Oh, well, narcissists were abused as children or too spoiled and blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, a lot of them, no, they had very uneventful lives. That's their biggest problem. They never went through a lot of trauma. Now, yes, some of them have, but a lot of them lied about that, a lot of them exaggerate about that because they want someone to pity them. But a lot of them have pretty uneventful lives compared to healers, shamans, light workers. I mean, a lot of us have gone through hell and back multiple times, have almost died multiple times. I mean, oh my God, I was like strapped to boards and had spinal taps done and was in a coma and had every vein collapsed in me before I turned one. Okay. I have gone through hell and back multiple times. A lot of these other people's like, "What made your life so hard?" And they're like, my parents didn't give me enough attention. And I'm like, well, mine didn't either. Shit, they were too busy for me too. That was the 80s and 90s, people. And they're always too busy working, inflation hit. It happened. I know it's happening again. Um, but anyway, what I think is the perfect possession. And I had written an article about this years ago. And it was one of those pay-per-click sites. I took it down because they were making money off of me. And if you don't hit a certain threshold, they don't pay you. So they were making money off of me, but they were not paying me. So I just took it down. But before I took it, been up a few years before I took it down. But a lot of people piggybacked off of that one article I wrote. And I even put in the article that I got the idea from Father Malachi Martin, who used to be on a guest on Coast to Coast quite a bit. I had heard his interviews even before I had met someone who was like a diehard Coast to Coast fan. And I kind of got bummed out about Coast to Coast after, I had got into the Dogman encounters and I had been on Dogman encounters because I've seen what looked like a werewolf. And, the daughter or whoever of the Coast to Coast guy flat out like attacked Vic Cundiff from Dogman Encounters, and they set him up, and it was such a cruel thing. So I just can't hardly promote that group of people. But I did enjoy hearing what Doctor Father Malachi Martin had talked about with the perfect possession. And when he described it, immediately the bell went off in my head of narcissist, a true blue narcissist, because they know like the way he described the perfect possession, they know each other. When they see each other, they recognize each other. And when you walk by them, you get that icky feeling and you just know. And if they know, they know. And it's like you're in danger. And I was like, this is what true malignant narcissists are like. And I'm not talking your average run of the mill narcissist here. I used to think all narcissists were just malignant narcissists, but I have run into so much since my ex, who I know dabbled in black magic and did some dark things. And no, I did not know he did that before we were together. He had slowly hinted at a few sick things that he had done, would never go into detail. But if I put two and two together, I think when him and his buddies were doing a bunch of drugs, they probably sold their soul to the devil himself, right? So that they could get the gift of telepathy. And it's weird because even though he has that gift, he doesn't have the gift that psychics do, like me, of reading beyond words. They have no empathy. So they can't really, and they'll talk about narcissists and mind reading. And no, narcs can't read your mind, but this and that and this and that. And no, a typical narcissist probably can't read your thoughts. But if they are perfectly possessed, if they sold their soul for certain gifts from Satan or whatever you want to call the bad guys down there, whatever, um, really, they do sometimes have gifts that do seem supernatural, but they're not that supernatural. We live in a very superstitious society that is so afraid of anything paranormal or supernatural and or metaphysical. Okay, if you look at the terms paranormal, supernatural, metaphysical, these are all things that we know could probably be proved by science one day. If you were to go back 5,000 years ago and try to explain germs and bacteria and mitochondria and ATP and ions and all of this stuff and atoms, they would think we were stark raving mad. Okay. And right now, that's how people treat us who understand paranormal things are still very real, like telepathy. I've experienced it multiple times, but I have said, in a previous video that it's not really a superpower. You have to be able to go beyond hearing people's thoughts. You have to be able to feel their full intentions, the emotion behind it, which evil people cannot do because they're cut off from love. When you are cut off from love, God is the source of love, creator, whatever you want to call it. When you are cut off from source, you are cut off from love. When you are cut off from love, you have no empathy, none. You can feign it, you can pretend you have it, but they cannot recognize emotion. That's why you notice true, deep, deep malignant narcissists, which are probably more than narcissists, they probably are possessed. They don't have emotion. The only emotion I've seen from that one ex, the only time I've ever seen him smile and laugh was when it was at someone else's expense. If it was a joke that he thought made him feel better than someone else. And he never really showed real joy. He did show frustration, anger, complacency, tantrums, negative emotions. He seemed to show and experience quite a bit. But I've never seen him actually thoroughly experience any positive emotions, which is really sad, isn't it? It is. It's sad that they can't even experience joy, genuine joy. But these perfectly possessed people are very, very different than your average narcissist or your average narcissistic person. I would say that there is a level where it is not just a personality type anymore, but something that is completely handed over to evil. And when they're like that, it's funny because if you were to do any spiritual stuff, you actually sometimes can get a reaction, like if you were to put salt, line your front door with salt and watch them walk over it, watch how like hesitant they are to cross it and how uncomfortable they are to stay in your house and how quickly they want to leave. And if you were to say certain prayers out loud, like if they have evil intent in their heart or mind, whether they know it or not, do not let them show up, and lightning storms will show up and block the road, or a black snake would came out on the front porch one day where he couldn't get in. I mean, there were so many supernatural things that proved that this person was like dangerous and bad. It wasn't even funny. And I mean, I see a lot of people who they may not be full blown possessed, but they are oppressed to the point where they're very, the typical narc, like where they're, whether it's a grandiose or an overt or a covert or whatever, they are very like afraid of everything. They're constantly churning in their head. You can watch them. I have a parent, and you watch that jaws chewing, where he clenching, where he's constantly trying to, he thinks he's so genius, he can constantly figure everyone out and project onto people and tell them what they are, and you're a sheep and you're this and you're that and you're this, and it's like he's got everyone pegged, right? But yet he never actually takes the time to listen to anybody. So more of the grandiose type narcissist, and seems so oppressed. It's like he wants to pretend he has joy, but it's very obvious that he's getting more and more miserable over the years, and pretends to be a super Christian and goes to church and all this stuff and loves Jesus, and he's been happy ever since he started tithing, and everyone should tithe. And yeah, the more you watch, the more miserable you see this person is. The more that they watch Fox News, the more that they just like believe whatever they say on there, laugh at what they laugh at, get mad at what they get mad at. And now you'll see people do the same thing with CNN news. It's creepy. And you just have to feel sorry for them, because even if they are not possessed and fully evil, they do so much damage to light workers that once you know. Like once you understand past lives, once you've had past life dreams and visions. And once you've watched enough near death experiences and people will talk about this stuff, you know that if you screw up, you may be coming back. The biggest problem with these like religions is that they cop out. They're like, oh, well, I can just say I believe in Jesus and I can go get baptized and I can do whatever I want. And so long as on my deathbed, I can ask the Lord again, please forgive me. I can go to heaven. And I'm just like, "Oh my god, you have no idea what you're in for." Like, none. It is not that easy. It is not that easy. I know you wish it was. I know people say, "Yes, it is. Jesus said it is." Yeah, right. Jesus even talked about reincarnation, but they will flat out deny it. He talked about how Elijah came back again. It was John. He talked about it. He went into detail on that. But because he didn't use the word reincarnation, you got to remember most pastors in all churches are like brainwashed through seminary school. And I even had one church I used to like because it was like a non-denominational, but even he said psychics aren't real and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, like you are so much deep shit. Because when you guys flat out are biased and blocked spiritually, you are incapable of truly helping humankind move on to the next dimension, the next phase of existence. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. If you avoid it, if you ignore it, you will start over. You're going to be reborn somewhere you don't like. It may not be as fun. You think this life is hard. Just wait till you get the next one. And even if we do everything right that we think we can in this life, we may still come back. And it doesn't mean that, um, I don't want to, but my higher self, I was like, I don't know. I went through a lot over a few weeks ago and I was like, Lord, why? And then he kind of like hit me in the head with what I understand, which is my higher self. Would my higher self sign up for this? I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I would. I would have done it again. My higher self is like on the front line saying, game on, motherfuckers. I'm going to get this shit done. And yeah, no, it's curse words. Oh, doesn't it just kill the religious people? Naughty words. Oh, boo hoo, princess. Boo hoo. Now, here's the thing, okay? It's the condition of the heart, okay? That is what we need to work on, the condition of the heart. We have got to work on that. Most people are not authentic. And all of these layers of narcissism, um, we have to be, and not to mention, we ourselves can be guilty of behaving narcissistic. All of us, every single one of us, we have to work at it. We've been groomed and conditioned so much by evil forces, that we really have to be careful about it. And anyway, I want to make sure I'm not sorry. I don't want to get sidetracked, but I'm not going to go on much longer. So I'm trying to look and see if there's any notes I don't want to miss out on. Yeah, I might want to talk about the whole false balance thing. A lot of people will talk about like we have to balance good and evil and light and dark. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Darkness has never and will never be equal to light, ever. The idea that we have to have balance is man-made completely. If we kept that balance, so to speak, what are we doing? What accomplishes anything with that? The whole point is to wrap light around us from the inside out, the outside in, to wrap the mortal with the immortal. That is our goal, and we can do it. But we've been blinded by the powers of darkness, who does not want to stop feeding off of us, who have run away from source in the beginning. If we were to shine at our full capacity, darkness would have no choice but to flee. When you turn on a light, darkness flees, period. And we are being snuffed out. We are being put out. Okay. These evil forces that feed off of us need us weak. If we shined at full capacity, there would be no darkness. There would be no shadow. None. That is where healing is. That is where immortality is. That is where no more death, suffering, tears, and pain is. And even though there's all of these people begging and waiting for Jesus to return, I'm not saying that he isn't. And whatever religion you believe in, it's fine. So I'm just like, you don't have to, even entertain this idea. But I'm really wondering if the Lord, Heavenly Father, Spirit, isn't saying, put on your big boy and girl panties and do it yourself. Jesus repeatedly said the kingdom of heaven is inside of us. It's in us. It's in us. Heaven isn't up out somewhere. It's right here. It's right here. Hello. In us now. Eternity in us right now. A lot of people are using it for selfish reasons. You look at all these law of attraction people. I am God and God is me, and I can buy whatever I want. I can manifest lots of riches. Yay! Who cares if it's, polluting the world, and half the stuff you want now is going to be junk next year and is going to go in a landfill, and, it's going to be the dead white man's clothes that gets sent to Africa, and, the nice stuff you're buying is not doing a damn thing for the environment. If anything, we need less stuff, less consumerism, and go native, go tribal, not vegan consumerists. I know some of you do that because you really love animals, you love the planet. But if you're going every single day to the grocery store to buy your fruits and veg, especially from all over the world, do you know avocados are killing kids in Mexico? I mean, it's a big drug cartel thing. It's like green gold, they call it, and it's giving them asthma and stuff. So don't be these first world elites who are like, oh, I'm saving the environment by buying, dates from here and coconut from there and bananas from here and avocados from here and quinoa and all this stuff. Like, you're not helping anybody but yourself. And in a way, you're not helping yourself either. We have to get back to our roots. All of us, me too. It's not easy. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. No, not even close. We all have got to get back. We need to actually start going more to the elders of the tribes, the Native American tribes, the Aboriginal tribes, and get back in touch with our Celtic and Druidic and Scandinavian roots, and whatever roots you have, African tribes, whatever our ancestors were that really took care of the earth, that's where the answers lie. I really believe a lot of them had more power spiritually than we do now. And we have been numbed down by people who are really destroying the earth for profit, destroying it. And enough is enough, you know. Now, if you feel like you have somebody who is oppressing you, or you feel like demons are oppressing you, you have to decide, do you want to be a light worker? Do you want to be a healer? Or are you just in it for, are you codependent? Are you focused on just your relationships? Are you focused on what you can get out of life? Or are you here for a higher purpose? Do you feel like you're here for a reason? If so, you need to focus on getting out, get away from these people who are oppressing you, these narcissistic people, even if they are not fully possessed and they're just oppressed, they're entertaining the darkness. Okay. You don't have room for them in your life. You really don't. These people have got to grow up. They've got to grow up one day. They can't stay stuck in their selfish mode forever. They're harming everyone. They're harming children, animals, planets, the universe. And they're stopping us from progressing. And it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. As the age of Pisces rears its ugly head, but I'm pretty sure when Pluto enters Aquarius, more and more of us are going to start standing up. They're talking about, a lot of people, astrologers are saying it's going to be the beginning of artificial intelligence and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I think so. In a way, it's going to get outrageous with technology, but technology is some of the most environmentally dangerous stuff. It's all made with petroleum oil. Most all of it is made with plastics and petroleum oil products, right? Here they are, these people are protesting big oil, but they're using big oil consistently to protest it. It's pathetic. Okay. We have got to actually be able to fight for our rights to live independently of the government again. We're forced to pay property taxes so that we're always stuck in the matrix. Tribal communities are forced to do certain things in Australia and, in the US, and it's wrong. There should be massive amounts of land for everybody that the government cannot interfere with and cannot tax and cannot tell us what to do, because the government needs us, not the other way around. It is a big, massive narcissistic parasite that is feeding off of us. And it's run by people who are the ultra rich, the ultra elites, the types who brag about their ice cream being delivered to them while people are in food lines, because they lost their jobs. This narcissist, this demonic environment matrix has got to stop. And, it's not going to happen overnight. And if people want to get mad at me for saying this or report this or anything else, I mean, I'm not threatening anything. This is something that's going to happen. I'm not doing anything. And it's not even going to be violent. I don't think so. I think people are just going to opt out and start to stand up for their rights. I mean, it can certainly be violent, I suppose, but Pluto and Aquarius, things are going to change whether people like it or not. It is what it is. All the people that are afraid of change, they're not going to like the future, because the next 20, 22 years and more, it is going to change drastically. But here's the cool thing about it. It's going to be a very slow burn. Pluto is not a fast planet, okay? There was definitely some big events that happened with Pluto and Aquarius before, like the American Revolution. And those events people will remember. But before those events happen, um, there's so many other things. I mean, it's like the frog is already boiling, guys. You know, um, like, Babylon's already smoking. She's already on fire. She can't see it. She's drinking the full cup of the wrath of God right now. She's drunk on the blood of the saints. She's drunk on the blood of light workers, of tribal people around the globe. And she will fall. And it's not like, we have to force it. I think its power is bigger than us in a way, forcing it. But you have to decide, what side do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the side of mass narcissists and the mass starvation they've created and the mass production of junk goods? Or do you want to actually focus on being a light worker, on being a healer, on being someone who wants to make this transition smooth for children and their children and their children? And I'm not trying to go off on a tangent on how you should spend your money or anything like that. I'm not trying to tell you that you should do anything drastic. It all starts with your motive, with your goals. What do you want out of life? A lot of times the way narcissists use us is because they want us dependent on them in some way, shape, or form, financially, physically, and relationship wise, for our reputation. And if you would quit caring about the physical world so much, you won't let these narcissists get to you as much. If anything, the main time we worry is because we have little ones to take care of, rescue animals and children and other things that we really value and want to take care of. And sometimes we get stuck in as this tug of rope between different types of narcissistic entities, whether it's groups of people or an individual. And in those situations, it can be pretty scary. But we have to remember that this physical world is transitory. It is temporary. We cannot let this narcissistic society drive our direction or intimidate us in the goals that we have and where we want to go. And I think that, you get the idea of what a narcissist is, what a narcissistic person is, and how spiritually, they affect us. And if you do happen to run into the perfectly possessed type of narcissist, you can't even exorcise the demon out of them because they want it. And those type of people you do have to remove. And in some instances, you may need a medicine person, a healer, a practitioner to do some type of, binding, protection, return to sender, banishing rituals or something. I don't like using the term spells or whatnot. Some people don't mind it. I practice more along the lines of medicine, not spell work. It may even look just like spell work, but I don't like that term because it's associated with a lot of these new agey people who are out of control and they don't know what they're doing. I believe in medicine. I believe in healing. I believe in truth. And a ritual is like a prayer with deep intention and focus, and you honor the powers that are higher than you, and you utilize all the tools in the earth that the Creator gave us when you do that ritual. And you may need someone to do that for you to get rid of some of these people, because some of these perfectly possessed people, they do black magic. They do dark magic. They're dangerous. They will go out of their way to harm people and snuff out the light in any way, shape, or form that they can. If they can't control the light, they want to put it out. And you have to be careful. Sometimes they don't practice black magic. They are just physically dangerous, where you have to remove yourself because they could physically hurt you. And I'm pretty sure that's all I want to say tonight, because it's getting longer than I expected it to be. I may talk about it more. I don't know. I could go in lots of normal stuff about narcissists, but I don't want to do it on this channel. I don't know. I've thought about making a narcissist channel where I just talk about the stuff that they do that is insane, that people need to recognize. But I wanted to go over the spiritual aspect of it because I've only seen a few people do it, and when they do, it's like real religious, kooky. It's some of y'all will think I'm kooky. I don't mind. I guess what I mean is like real rigid, real rigid in their belief system. And I don't know, it may sound rigid to some of you, but I'm trying to be more open. I'm trying to be expansive with this. It doesn't matter what your faith, what your religion, you can apply what I said and look at it from your perspective. Understand that spirit, I know Christians will say, well, unless you do things our way. And I'm like, well, Jesus is the word of God. The word of God was one with God and is, in fact, is God and was with him in the beginning and was, is, will be. The word is everywhere. Everything was made by the word through the word. So there's tons of people who actually invoke Christ, don't even know it. There are tons of people who live with the Holy Spirit in their heart, don't even know it because the word is planted in them. It even tells you in the Bible there will be a time when no one needs to prophesy to them, that babes will be prophesying, young men and women will be having dreams, and, the Spirit will be filling people without anyone needing to teach them. The man made church is pretty much becoming obsolete and they know it. And they're not going to go down without a fight because they need that money. They need to be supported with those rigid ways where they say there's no such thing as psychics, there's no such thing as reincarnation, and you can't do this and you can't do that, and my way or the highway. And I'm sorry, but go listen to all the near death experiences, guys. There are tons of people who've experienced a love of God and have never set foot in a church. That is not what it is about. The church is inside of you, it is you. Your body is the temple. One day we will outshine all of the man made religion. It all has to do with the relationship that you have with your creator. Anyway, I love you. I bless you. Until next time.